All right, welcome to Reality Rundown, episode 26, where we'll be recapping last night's episode of Big Brother All-Stars. I'm your host, Connor Nelson, along with my co-host, Christian Holman. How you doing?
I'm doing great. You know, it's weird doing it this early in the day. We didn't do it last night because someone kept falling asleep, and it was really late, past someone's bedtime.
Yeah, I called you, and you looked like you had just rolled out of bed, like it was morning, and you're like, there's no way I can do this right now, so here we are.
Yep, I'm pretty sure I answered the phone and said good morning. You know,
What,
it seemed like that. I was
which,
just
if we had to pick an episode to do this for, it was definitely last night, so there wasn't much. It was, I mean, there's a reason you fell asleep during it, not because it was so late. I think it was more of, they didn't have much to go with, so either way, we'll get started. If you're watching on YouTube and you like the podcast, leave a like for us. If you have any suggestions for us or anything you want to hear about or want to see us talk about, leave it in the comments section. And if you subscribe with notifications on, you will get notified when we post, so you're up to date with all the episodes. And if you want to watch us record these live, we go live at twitch.tv/realityrundown after every single episode. You can catch us there. If you follow us there, like I said, it will notify you there too when we go live, so you don't miss out. But yeah, last night's episode, there wasn't much. It was basically just a big recap of the triple. They did show some of the conversations, which, again, didn't show much because there really wasn't much to show. But I think they just tried to fill as much as they could because there's not been much going on really all season, but especially now that it's getting later into the season where there's 6 people left and it's getting rough and not much to work with.
yeah, it's which there could be a lot to work with. Just I think they messed up on triple eviction, and then with the way HOH fell this week, and with the way triple eviction ended up going, it didn't split the house as much as it could have and possibly should have.
Yeah. Yeah, there was options there for that to happen, and again, it just didn't happen. But either way, this episode starts with Memphis, I think, is in the DR, and he's like, it's starting now. The game's here. The committee is dead. The committee doesn't exist anymore, and he's ready to go to war with the people that he's been aligned with all season. And I know people keep saying this, like everybody in the house is like, it's starting now. It's gonna get bloody, but like I don't think it's ever gonna get bloody. I think it's just gonna be very mellow, very just whatever until Final Two gets here and the season's over.
Yeah, and the one eviction last night that was like different, in terms of like a committee member going home, it had to be one of them, you know, and that's what's so annoying. Or the fact that like we had David versus Nicole. If had Nicole gone home, the whole house instantly shook. Everything's different.
Yeah.
We have fire.
You have Tyler, David, and Christmas on one side, and you have the other on one side. So let's say Christmas
honestly,
or David
Memphis,
win HOH next.
Memphis would be sitting in the middle.
Yeah.
And whoever had power is who he'd go with.
Is who he would go with.
Actually
Yeah.
been going with Cody, but
So it could have at least been interesting, but we got what we got, and here we are. After this, it goes to Nicole. It shows her right in the right after the HOA. No, right after the triple ends, and she just goes to the room by herself, and she's laying in the floor crying, just like poor pitiful Nicole. She got on the block and she survived. How could things be worse for Nicole? And Cody walks in and he's like, what is wrong with you? Like, get up. Like, you're here. You could be in jury right now, but you're not. Like, why are you like this? And he's kind of like everybody here, I think, watching, like, why are you acting like the world is crumbling when you're actually not in that bad of a spot?
yeah, I have to go ahead and admit to everyone, I missed the first few minutes of the episode because of football. The recording didn't work right, and I missed it. So
You missed the first 10 and the last 30.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So no, I saw a majority, I think, but we will find out what I know from this episode, and this is something I don't know about. But he makes a good point in terms of I mean, why would you cry? You didn't go home. Now maybe you're not in a great spot because you're targeted, but you're also being covered at the same time. You know, people got your back, so.
Yeah, it's
There's
just,
things to be happy about,
and
too.
that's just Nicole. That's her game. That's how she is. It's just she tries to get all of the pity on herself, tries to make herself seem like the victim, when in reality, it's like she's the one doing these things to herself and like putting herself in these positions. When really, there was no chance she was going home. Like, maybe if Enzo flips, but like she has Enzo, so like why would I don't know. I don't get it. I don't see it. I don't like the way she plays. I can't wait until she goes to the jury house because I think that will be at least. I don't know if we're gonna get any jury segments, but if we're gonna get a good jury segment, I think it's gonna be when Nicole gets to jury.
Yeah, and Davon yells at her.
Yeah.
For personal game moves.
Also, and then we get to basically the first half of the episode was just going over the triple, but it shows when Memphis gets HOH for the second. Right after Kevin leaves, they go play HOH. Memphis wins, and they get right back in the house. And Tyler's like, "Hey, do you want to have any conversations? Do you want to have any meetings with anybody?" And Memphis is like, "No, I'm not talking to anybody. I know what I'm doing." And I think he says in the DR, he's like, I mean, when it comes to things like this, everybody knows what they're doing. It's not like they're going to change last second. Like, everybody knew exactly what they would do if they won power in this situation. So he didn't talk to anybody. They kind of just waited until the commercial break ended or whatever they were doing at the time because it was recorded earlier. And he nominates David and Nicole, right? Yeah, David and Nicole. And he knew that it was what he was going to do no matter what. There was no reason for him to talk to anybody.
Yeah, which I don't agree that there's no reason to talk to anyone because...
I highly... Even if you know what you're doing, even if you know no one's going to sway you, like, at least give them the opportunity so it's not like, I'm not going to listen to anybody, it's just what I want. Like, it just doesn't look good.
Also, Memphis and Christmas are supposedly really close in the house. So, had he talked to everybody, he may have known that maybe he should tell them not to go for a backdoor because they don't have the votes for it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
it would have... put them in a much better position.
Yeah. Memphis does talk to Christmas, and he's like, I want David out. I've been trying to get David out for 2 weeks. This is the time. Like, we got to get David here. And you can tell, well, she doesn't really like, she's just like, okay, whatever. That conversation ends. And I think Tyler comes in with Christmas, and Tyler's like, what do you want to do here? Like, you think we should take a shot here? And they both agree that they both want Nicole out at this point. Like, they're like, it's time to make this shot. It's time to try to get Nicole out. So they're like, we need to get Enzo on board. If we can get Enzo, we've got it. So Christmas is like, I'm gonna leave that to you, Tyler. You go talk to Enzo, see what you can do, see if you can get him to flip, and if it happens, I'm on board. And so they show Enzo. They're in the bathroom, and Enzo comes in, and he's like, "Yo, what are we doing? How are we voting?" And they're both like, "We want to vote Nicole out." And he's like, "Yeah, like maybe," but like doesn't really give them much. Doesn't say yes or no. So and then someone's coming up, so he leaves. They don't really get an answer here, which should tell them, don't make this move. Like, if he's not going to tell you, yes, let's get Nicole, you don't do it. You don't have the votes. So at that point, that's when they should have known. But clearly they thought, if we vote first, we have the two locked in. He comes in and we say, hey, we voted this way, vote Nicole. Maybe they've got him, but clearly that didn't happen.
Yeah, they didn't have the votes. And like Enzo is so wishy-washy on it. It's like, yeah, man, I got you. I mean... Well, let's just see. Let's see. And it's and Enzo is really annoying in the fact of, like, he's always, which you've been talking about all season. He's like, we got to make big moves, man, big moves, nothing but big moves.
Which, to be fair, this probably was the right move for Enzo not to vote Nicole out, but it's just it drives me nuts that, yeah, again, all season long, he's wanting to make a big move. He's wanting to do something to where, like, it looks good for his resume. It looks good, like, for the jury. Yet every time he's had any opportunity to make a big move, he's had some excuse as to why he can't and why he wants to do it next week or have someone else do it next week. Or if he gets power in the next coming weeks, then yeah, I'll make that shot. But, like, I don't think he's ever going to do anything other than just throw comps and make it to the end because everybody's just dragging him there.
Yeah, which I think Enzo makes it to the finals. I think there's a very good chance he wins. I think Cody might beat him, but maybe not Cody because
it's all just going to depend. Like, again, you can't play this game thinking of like, how is the jury going to vote? Because you never know. Some juries are going to be bitter. Some juries are going to vote just based off competition. Some are going to vote off how people treated them. You just never really know at this point. So like, you can't just like, with Enzo, just think, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to sit back, relax, because that could look like it gets to the final two. He tries to throw out what he's done in this game, and basically all he can say is, I had one HOH and I got out. Take your pick of whoever. Like nobody's gonna care that he took that shot because it was a nothing shot. So like, really, is there anything that he can say that he's done great in this game other than just sit back and relax?
I think in terms of like jury management, he has done a good job in terms.
Oh,
of
100%. He's definitely the best social player.
Which you do have when you're playing the game. You do have to think about how the jury's gonna vote. Like that doesn't mean you don't vote out Ian, but when he says, I'm not going to vote for you in jury, that's more of a reason to vote him out, honestly. But you do have to think about how people are going to react to certain things.
Yeah, you have to treat people right. But I'm just saying, like, at a certain point, like, you have to make some sort of move. You have to win some comps. Like, I think he's won, like, one HOH, maybe one veto, maybe two vetoes. I'm not sure. And I think he won one of the safety suites. So, like, to be honest, that's not much. But, again, and the jury could just go based off of just social game purely and just, he didn't backstab me, so who cares? Like, I'll just vote for him. I don't know. It could go either way, but I just don't think the moves he's made, like, at the end when they're trying to explain their game to everybody in the jury, he's not going to have much to say, whereas, let's say, Cody or Memphis, they've won all these comps. They've done – Memphis can say he created all these big alliances that – made it till the end. I don't know. I just don't see. Again, he can win. The window's there for Enzo to win. I just don't necessarily.
I think in terms of like you saying like big moves later on in the game. I think him not voting out Nicole, he can claim that as a big move, as he was the swing vote in that, and there's going to be other opportunities that come along. I'd say. So,
but I also think that the people in the jury right now would way rather have seen Nicole out of there. So like if Enzo makes that move of getting Nicole out, he can be like, I made that move. Like Nicole, I put Nicole in the jury. That's who you guys wanted there. As opposed to I threw David in there when David's not done one thing in this game and Nicole has won the game. So it's just I don't know. There's a very good chance he can win. I just don't. That's not my pick.
I agree. Good reasoning.
Enzo. Oh no! After the vote, I think Enzo goes to Tyler and Kristen. I don't know if he tells them both, but he's like, I just didn't want to leave Memphis flat. I didn't want to just leave him out to dry because he wanted David out, and that's why he didn't vote. But he didn't do it just because he wanted Nicole in the game, which is fair. If that's better for his game, sure, whatever. Do whatever you need to do. But they definitely needed, Tyler and Christmas needed to get a definite yes or a definite no, not just a nothing and then hope for the best, because they should know better than just to think like, oh, this might hit, but if it doesn't, we're screwed. Like, they know if this vote doesn't hit and Nicole stays, they're in big trouble, and it's not worth it at this point to shoot and miss.
Yeah, definitely.
But either way, after the vote, Enzo goes to Nicole, and he's like, they tried to flip me. They did their best to try to flip me, but I got you, like, 100%. Me, you, and Cody, we're going to the end. And just basically was like, and he played this right because he keeps saying, like, I did this favor for Nicole. I kept her in this game, so now she owes me. And I think she does owe him to an extent.
Yeah, I think she – I don't know if she will, though, like, hold up to anything of owing, which – I don't know if she necessarily owes him, but at the minimum, he at least earned some loyalty there. Yeah.
But she is clearly not happy, and she clearly is like, Tyler and Christmas, they're dead to me. They gotta go. And but the thing is with Nicole, it's like, who cares? You're not gonna win anything. You're not gonna like. Basically, all she is a vote. So, if as long as she doesn't win HOH, they do think they're fine, but they're really not because she is so aligned with Cody. She's so aligned with Enzo. She's so aligned with basically everybody but Christmas and Tyler. Maybe a little Memphis, but that's really the problem here.
Yeah, which if Nicole, again, the whole thing with Nicole, you said like she's not going to win. maybe not comps, and I may not have heard everything you said. I'm gonna be honest, but I may have heard as well. So if you're talking about like the game, I think she has a good pitch of just being, I won before, I should have made it again, but I'm here, so you should vote for me. Which that's gonna be her pitch, I'd mostly say. She'll
Probably.
have some other things, but that's gonna be her main thing.
Yeah. Tyler is talking. I don't know who he's talking to here, but maybe Cody. I'm not sure, but he's like, this is the first time ever in this house, maybe in the DR, that he has been on the wrong side of the vote,
Yep,
and
DR.
that's really crazy to be honest.
Yeah, he's I hope DR right there, and he also tells Nicole later on too.
Yeah, but because normally back in Big Brother 20, he controlled every single vote. If he wanted to flip it, it was getting flipped. If he wanted someone to stay, they were staying. He was in control of the whole game.
Yep, and he hasn't had that luxury this season because he's made some really dumb mistakes.
Yeah, he's really shot himself in the foot. And again, I don't think he's ever been in the spot of what just happened with the Nicole vote to like he didn't know really how to play that because every single vote before this, it's been very straightforward. Everybody knew how they were voting. In Big Brother 20, he knew how everybody was voting. He was like basically telling people who to vote for, so he knew what was going on. And here, he didn't know what was going on, so he was just kind of shooting in the dark, and he missed.
Yep. Tough for Mr. Tyler there.
Yeah. So then we get to the Danny and Nicole on the block, and Cody tells Danny that he is voting to keep her, knowing that he's not voting to keep her, but just so that he's like, I don't want her, if I tell her that I'm voting her out, to go tell everybody basically my whole game. So I'm just going to keep her happy, and then she's going to be really mad, but it's worth the alternative.
Which is very true.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know if she would have backstabbed him like that. There's a chance. But I think he could have been like, hey, I don't have the votes to keep you. If I vote you out, or if I vote to keep you, it's going to put a target on my back. I just can't do it. I'm sorry. And I think she probably would have been.
Well, I would have just been like, listen, if the votes are there, I'll vote to keep you. But if I know the votes aren't there, I'm not going to be the only one to vote to keep you. So just know, like, it's nothing personal. But if 3 people are voting against you and I'm going to be the only one not voting against you, like, I can't do that. And I think, like, deep down she's going to be mad, but she at the surface, she's got to understand that.
Yeah, definitely.
But, I think it was the right move not to risk it because on the off chance she just completely blows them up like she did with Christmas and Tyler, it's just not worth it, like, at that point.
Yeah.
Either way, that's about all we get of the triple and the conversations that happened during the triple. Was there anything else that you saw that you wanted to talk about there?
No. Actually, there was just one quick thing. It's not really any point from the show, but whenever they were showing it, I saw Danny on the episode, and I literally questioned myself. I was like, wait, I thought Danny went home. And then I convinced myself Nicole went home for a quick second, and they're like, wait. No, they're recapping.
And then you woke back up.
And yeah, then I woke back up, yeah. Or fell asleep, I don't know. One of the two happened.
So, either way, we get to the HOH comp, and it is called Namaste Off the Block. And they do a competition like this every year. I kind of like the way they did this one because it wasn't just one, like they go at separate times, and it's just one. They were all together, and there was buttons on basically like a workout bench deal. I don't really know how to explain it, but there was different buttons, and they had 3 buttons that they had to press, and if they took off, if one of the buttons were unpressed, then the timer goes up 10 times faster. 2 buttons off was 30 times faster, and 3 times off was 60 times faster. And so you had to have all 3 buttons pressed while taking off all the clothes that you have on, and then run over and hit your timer, and that locks in your score or your time. And so yeah, they do something like this basically every year. The one I remember most, I think, was it 18 maybe, where they had the Big Brother camper. I don't know. They had the camper outside where everybody went in one at a time. There was a competition, and it gave them some kind of power. It was Frank. Yeah, it was Frank and Davon's season when they were both on. They came back, or Davon was there,
18.
but Frank came back. Was that?
That was 16. No. 16 was Derek. That was 17 then.
Maybe.
But yeah, the one I remember.
It was James, Natalie.
Yeah, I think that was 17. But the one that I remember like that is the one where they're on the little duck and they're in the water and they have to get out of it.
Yeah. On the
That's
jet
what I
ski.
remember.
On the jet ski.
Yeah, jet ski, not a duck.
Yeah. But either way, Cody's the only one not participating. He's coming off the triple HOH, and the first round.
Tyler.
Tyler, that's what I meant. Sorry. The first round, Memphis had a time of 3 minutes 45 seconds. Enzo had a time of 7 minutes 16 seconds. Cody had a time of 4 minutes 1 second. Nicole 8 minutes and 8 seconds. And Christmas doesn't have all her clothes off when she buzzes in. So she had a time of 16 minutes and 58 seconds. So Christmas is the first one eliminated. And Tyler's like, you got to be kidding me. Like, the one person that I needed to win is the first one out.
Yeah, that's happened literally all season. Like, the people who are on the outs.
They don't even give themselves a chance.
Yeah, they literally just need one of them needs to be able to stay in the game long, and every single time, it's however many of them that are on the outs, they're the first ones out of the game. Yeah. Every single time this season.
Yeah. It's it's terrible. Either way, the second round, we have Memphis with a time of 2 minutes 42 seconds, Enzo with 2 minutes 33 seconds, Cody with 1 minute and 37 seconds, and Nicole with 4 minutes and 2 seconds. So Nicole is eliminated. So Christmas and Tyler feel good here. They're like, at least Nicole's out, so we kind of have at least a slim chance that we don't go on the block. But I think they both know that there's a 90% chance they're both going on the block.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious at this point.
Yeah. So either way, third round, Enzo 3 minutes 40 seconds, Memphis 1 minute 37 seconds, Cody 1 minute 56 seconds, and so Enzo's eliminated. Comes down to Memphis and Cody. Memphis gets the time of 5 minutes 41 seconds, and Cody gets a time of 3 minutes 6 seconds. So Cody wins HOH. Honestly, I feel like Cody won this very easily.
Well, in that last round, had Memphis taken his shirt off before he ran, he probably would have won that.
Yeah.
But he had trouble getting his shirt off, and it
cost him.
Really cost him.
Yep. Either way, Memphis in the DR, he said, if I would have won, Tyler and Nicole, Tyler and Nicole were going on the block because he doesn't really have an alliance with either one of them. He doesn't really have anything working-wise with them. So he wants to keep Christmas safe, and with Tyler and Nicole up, he doesn't really care who goes. But that's basically all we get there. They don't really show any more other than just Memphis saying who he would have put up, and Cody wins. So Tyler and Christmas right after, they're talking, and they're like, do you think Enzo is going to tell Nicole that we tried to flip him? And they're both like, I mean, more than likely, it's probably he's going to tell him. And he's already told her, but they don't know this obviously. But yeah, he's gonna tell her.
Yeah, he definitely told, immediately.
Yeah. It cuts to Nicole, and she's talking about how Christmas. She hates Christmas. How Christmas is all in with the guys, and that just makes her mad. And it's like, can we look in the mirror real quick?
Yeah.
Every season, you've played 3 seasons now, and every season you've backstabbed every girl you're working with.
Yeah.
What are we?
Including this season.
Including this season. So it's like, what are we talking about here? Yeah, that was interesting. Cody and Enzo were talking, and Enzo again tells Cody about how Christmas and Tyler tried to get him to flip the vote, and Cody's just like, yeah, I mean, I figured. I didn't think he would do it. Really not much here other than that. I think Cody tells him here that he does want Christmas to go home this week, that he wants to keep Tyler, but the noms are probably going to be Tyler and him, or her, Tyler and Christmas.
And this is the conversation Cody and Tyler, right? You're talking about?
No, Cody and Enzo.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. I think. Could be wrong. I don't know. It's been almost 24 hours.
Yeah. Well, if we can talk about that one real quick. The Tyler and Cody conversation. I loved how they did the Cody Tyler conversation, and then the Christmas Tyler conversation, where they're both in their DR. I will say whatever. If it means I have to flip on the other, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they both did.
And it was very
They
clear
both
that's what
go
they were
up there.
doing.
Oh, yeah. They both went up there and said the other person tried to flip the vote, which was awesome.
I honestly, if it were me, I think I would have just went the route of David was my guy. I like David. I wanted David in here. I felt bad voting against him considering everything he's been through, and just left it at that. Not the I thought that's what Memphis wanted. I blame it all on the other person. I think I just went with the David route. I mean, I don't think any route would have worked or been good, but
yeah, but it might make him less of the target opposed to
just completely throwing your number one under the bus.
Yeah.
Memphis is talking to Christmas in the bathroom, and he's like, listen, relax, you're good, don't freak out, you're safe, I've got you, you're gonna be here, like, don't worry about it. And honestly, it's like, I get where Memphis is coming from, but I wouldn't say this. I would just let it play out. When they go on the block, then reassure her, but don't before nominations be like, you're okay. Like, don't even give her that slight possibility of freaking out.
Yeah, it's Memphis has really kind of done his own thing all year.
Yeah.
Like in every HOH, he hasn't talked to anybody. I can't remember who described him as a lone wolf this season, but even though he's been in a big alliance all season and they've all stuck together, he's really done his own thing the entire season.
Yeah. Christmas goes and talks to Cody, and this might be the most pointless conversation of the entire season. Did you see this?
Maybe.
They did the like counter where every time he said like, they kept going up.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
What was this conversation like? Why did this conversation even? But like, why did this conversation even happen? I don't understand.
Well, it was like, whenever they evict people. Like, I had no clue what they were talking about. I just know they said like a lot. Just like what I just did. There's no clue.
If this was Christmas's attempt to stay off the block, she should know by this point she is 100% on the block.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Enzo now is talking to Cody, and he's like, I really did Nicole a solid here. She would be in the jury if it wasn't for me. So I know that I'm putting my eggs in this Nicole basket, but she's got to start winning something. Like, we have to get her to win next week and keep us safe. And if that's what Enzo's banking on, like, that's not something good to be banking on.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one to bank on.
She hasn't even came close to winning one thing this season.
Yeah, if that's their logic, then they probably should have kept Danny.
Yeah. 100%. Because Danny was not coming for them.
And Danny's almost won a couple and has won a couple.
Yeah.
At least one.
Yeah. No, at least, I think 2 or 3. But yeah, it's just, it's not a good strategy to rely on Nicole to win something to keep you safe. But he did say, like, if she doesn't start winning something, then we're just going to cut her and who cares? Which is probably the right move.
Yeah, which I don't think Nicole on that side lasts longer. I think you think they take Memphis over Nicole to the final 3?
I hope. This season, honestly, I think this season would have been like at least 5%, 10% better if Nicole just wasn't on it. I just don't. Every time she's on the screen, it's just she gives nothing, she brings nothing, and it's just basically her crying 24/7, and I can't do it.
So, Nicole is your Tyler, Nicole is to you as Tyler is to Nicole. You're jealous of Nicole.
Yeah. Did you see what I sent you last night, by the way?
You mean what I found? Yeah. I found that on Twitter and sent that to you.
Okay. All right. So, Cody, I think this is the conversation we've already talked about, but Cody and Tyler talk, and he basically just completely throws Christmas under the bus, says that he wants to make it to the end with Cody. I mean, not much here. It's not going to help him either way. He doesn't really he should have really thought this one through going up, came up with something a little better, but I guess with how much time there is to get to him, didn't really have much time to figure something out, but this was just not a good look.
Well, I don't think it was a horrible conversation that he had. I think he messed up a lot, but he can at least be relatively reassuring to Cody, like, I'm on your side.
Yeah.
Even though
He did say too. He was like, if you put me up next to Christmas, I'm going home. If you put me on the block at all, I'm going home. Which I don't think at the time was true. I think that Christmas was definitely the target. Cody wanted Christmas out. But as this week's gone by, I think it's starting to sway in Christmas's favor. I guess we'll find out tomorrow or Thursday, really. But Cody's telling him, like, dude, no, you're good. Don't worry about it. Even if you're on the block, you're safe. We want you here. I want you here. We're good. Don't worry about it. But I think Tyler's right in thinking that he is definitely the bigger threat than Christmas.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Christmas has won one comp, I think, 2 comps all year. And Tyler has won 1 or 2 HOHs and a couple vetoes.
Yeah.
So
The thing with Tyler this year was he tried so hard not to be the same player he was in 20, when in reality he should have been at least a quarter or half of the player he was in 20. He basically did the complete opposite, and it ended up really hurting him more than it helped.
Yeah, he did a lot more sitting back and not trying to control things.
Yeah, and in Big Brother, you can't just sit back because eventually you'll get clipped. Because it gets down to 6, you're not working with one person, really. So, there you are.
Yep.
Either way, Christmas goes and talks to Cody right after this. Basically the same conversation, just the opposite. She basically puts it all on Tyler, says that she got duped. She was told that the vote was flipping, that Nicole was definitely the target, and it turns out she wasn't, so she just plays it off that she had no idea.
Yeah,
which everybody knows is a lie, including Cody.
Yeah.
So that's basically all that was. We get to the nominations. Nominates Tyler and Christmas, and he basically just blames it on the vote. Said the vote was sketchy and didn't really have much to go with.
I mean, that's all you can really say. No reason to say anything other than that. Don't want to create any more drama on yourself. So
Yep.
Did the right thing.
Well, that's basically the entire episode. Again, not much here. There wasn't much on this episode. A lot of filler. Maybe we'll get something tomorrow. Doubt it. But this season, I think, is just going to end and kind of be forgotten about. Even though it's supposed to be a big one.
A big one. One that we've all been wanting for years.
Yeah.
And now we're saying, maybe never again.
Maybe never again.
No, I want to see another All-Stars. I just want to see the good All-Stars.
I just wish they would have done it when it wasn't during Corona. Because I think they would have gotten a lot better people. But here we are, and there's nothing we can really do about it. But you have anything else from last night's episode, or you good?
Nope, I've been informed about most of the episodes on this podcast. So.
You going to go back and watch it?
No,
absolutely not. Yeah, no, you
missed a little bit of it. So.
All right, well, either way, that's all we got. So we will be back tomorrow night after the episode. We will get the veto. We'll see if Cody or Christmas can pull it off, see if things get shaken up at that point, which, let's be honest, the way the season's going, probably won't happen. But, we'll be back tomorrow night and then Thursday night for the eviction, see who gets power. But yeah, we will, if you're watching on YouTube, you like the podcast, leave a like. Subscribe with notifications on so you can get notified when we post so you're not behind. And if you have any suggestions for us, leave them in the comments. If you want to watch us record live, we go live at twitch.tv/realityrundown after every single episode. You can catch us there. Leave a follow there. And again, it will notify you when we go live so you don't miss out. If you're good, I'm good. We will see you tomorrow night.
Thanks for chatting.